being very vocal about how you feel and being more specific and intentional with how you communicate that. So again, it's a parallel between your body and your car, but you should always speak up when you see that red or amber light. Do something about it.
Found what I needed again. And it is to face these things, face what we're not doing, take accountability for when our stuff is running behind, when we're sluggish, when those spark plugs aren't sparking.
Topic is gears and goals, tuning up your life and your ride. And we are featuring the incomparable Renee Edwards. Renee, share with the audience who you are, what you do, and where you do it.
Hi, everyone. I'm so honored to be a part of this panel of phenomenal women. My name is Renee Edwards, but I'm affectionately known as Butters because of the color of my skin. The guys here call me Butters, AZ at the end, not ERS. My background is actually in aircraft maintenance and engineering, and also automotive maintenance. I am also a drag racer, plus size model, an influencer. I just recently launched my cricket academy for girls. So there's so much that I am into. I will consider myself a visionary and a philanthropist because I wanted to show up as someone I never had back in the day. So I'm wearing all these hats, but I enjoy every moment of it. Did I tell you I was a plus model? Girl, I'm a plus model as well. So, and I also do brand management for a couple of brands, and I am a social media curator and manager. So there's a lot of things that I do, and we'll speak about, how do you balance all of that in life? How do you set priorities and that type of stuff? So I'm so excited to speak about, gears and goals and how do we transpose all that we learn as myself as an engineer into life. So thank you again for having me. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful discussion.
So let's talk about cars. Now for women like me, it's crickets. It's all you can hear is when somebody asks me to take the car to the garage. I'm like, why? What's wrong with it? What's that noise, right? I'm going to say it's typical for a lot of women, probably not the trio right here tonight, because I know you all are car aficionados. And Renee, you're actually a mechanic, right?
Yes.
You are a car mechanic, automotive mechanic. So,
yes.
So why, as women, do we need to know how to repair our cars, our own cars? Like what is so important about that?
I think that not necessarily to repair them, but understand how they work and how to mitigate problems. So that's what I basically teach. The bone stock basics, why we need oil, why is the engine there? If you hear something or you smell something or you see a certain light come up on your dashboard, you have an understanding as to what could possibly go wrong. And very often, I'm sure that a lot of us here on this call, when we first got our cars, there's that owner's manual, the car's Bible that no one really opens. Just like when you get a new iPhone, you take the iPhone out, charge it, and throw everything else away. You don't want to know how to use it. You don't look at the user manual, nothing. So through my workshop, what I do, I ensure that women are educated on the basics, why we need the basics, how to check the basics. And you would hear stories where guys take full advantage of them, like they're telling them they need a turbo or they need something that's not necessary in their cars, and the women just say, okay, just do what you need to do, not knowing that they're being blindsided. So I think that the workshop has been going on for at least 6 years, and we've educated over 600 women and younger girls. So I think it's it's doing pretty well, and I'm looking to extend throughout the rest of the Caribbean. So it's very important for you to at least know the basics.
Well, I want Donna to explain her connection to cars, let's put it that way. And then the same for Dr. Romunda, because it's really interesting that each one of you have a story about cars. Donna, you go.
You just clearly said, Renee, exactly what we don't do as women with ourselves. We don't pick up the book on how we are. You know, we're feeling depressed. Oh, it's just depression. We don't pick up a book or learn anything about it. We don't treat ourselves. We wait till we're dragging into the doctor's office like we're dragging into the garage to say, help us. And then we still let someone else tell us. Just like you said, we tell the doctor, oh, just give me what you think. And then what does he do? I just did this a month ago, so I know. Give me what you think. Let me tell you, I slept. That's what I did. I didn't think. I slept. I didn't laugh. I slept. I didn't type, which is what I do. I slept. So I missed like a week because I let someone take their manual. They didn't look at my owner's manual. They looked at their book and told me what I should be doing instead of opening my manual. And for me saying, you know what, I'm usually not depressed. Maybe I need to go back and do a check. I still do what Siobhan and I created called the acid test. Before I go to bed every night, I still do an acid test on myself. I stand in the mirror and wash my face, take the makeup, hair off, whatever I'm doing. And I ask myself, was I the best I could be today? Did I do something that I probably shouldn't have done? I ask myself some really tough questions. I do a self-diagnostic on myself. And all the time, last night, I cried through my self-diagnostic because I felt so not satisfied with an outcome I expected on something. So I beat the hell out of myself with my self-diagnostic last night. And so I woke up this morning and I carried a lot of that still with me because there's no one to tell me how to use my owner's manual because I threw it away like 10 years ago. You know, I threw it away 10 years ago. So there's no one to help me connect with me again. And we lie to ourselves more than we tell the truth to ourselves. You're fine, Donna. You're fine. Go do some work. You're fine, Donna. You know, go write something. And the whole time I'm just burying, you know, just like with our car. That light comes on. I can go a few more miles. I'm going to wait to get that oil change. Wait till payday. Wait till this. And then I'm on the side of the road. So I get what you're saying. And Siobhan and I, we that's how we have worked with each other since the day I met her. You know, she gave me my first toe. You know, I was broke down and I had zero. I didn't even know I had an owner's manual. So imagine that. So she gave me a toe. And from then on, you know, I slip gears, you know. I need to be poured into. But it's a car. This is a body. And until we learn how to read that book from cover to cover and be honest with what's inside of it, because we're all different, we're just going to keep being on the side of the road.
Let me tell you what hit hard for me a while ago when you spoke. When you said that a lot of the times we see those check lights come on, that red light, because again, as the lights have different meanings. If it's red, something detrimental is happening. If it's orange or if it's yellow or amber, you know, something is pending. Do something, you know. But if it's green, you're all right. Something is working perfectly or something is operating. And more often than not, we see that red light come on, like a seat belt or a handbrake light is on. And we're like, let me just give it a little bit more time, you know. That one hour turns into a week, turns into a month, and then everything just goes belly up, you know. You have to buy a new engine sometimes, you know. So it's very important that we self-diagnose, as you said. We feel the pain, whether it's in your head or your heart. Once you feel that, you get checked up. And it's also incumbent on you as the individual to explain to the technician or the doctor or your therapist exactly how you're feeling, because very often we take our cars to the mechanic shop and we're just like, I hear a noise. What type of noise is it? Where is it coming from? What happened? What are you doing that caused that noise to actually come on, you know? So that helps with diagnosing yourself at the end of the day, being very vocal about how you feel and being more specific and intentional with how you communicate that. So again, it's a parallel between your body and your car, but you should always speak up when you see that red or amber light. Do something about it.
So Dr. Romunda Ings, she is our gun health expert on the show, but you tell me who your dad is. You tell everybody who your dad is, because when I found this out, I was like, oh, you're going to come on the show. This is the show for you. You're on most of the shows. But this one, I was like, okay, there's somebody else who's got cars in her life.
Cars in my life. My dad was known as a super pro stock driver, where he had to have a parachute on the back of his car. So my dad ran 5s and 6s to the point that he had to
Yes.
Really?
And the
That's
parachute had to
exciting.
come. Because before you blink, he was already at the finish line.
Yep.
But let me tell you the interesting part about that. Being my dad was known as Broadway Billy. He was in Aruba. Aruba sponsored him, brought him over. Budweiser sponsored him, to brought him over to Aruba to race. And their track was slippery, so his car slid. But as a race car daughter, to a dad that traveled around from all the well-known, from state to state, track to track, he's a legend in his history. I can't be more proud of my dad with the legacy that he has left for so many other drivers. I was out at a restaurant one day, and I used to wear my jacket said Broadway Billy's daughter #1. And people was like, oh my God, I love your dad. It's like literally, I'm like, oh, okay. You're Broadway's daughter. You always come to the track. I'm like, yeah. It's like, my God, your dad where's your dad? He's a legend. Da, da, da. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, but let me tell you, in the midst of all of that learning about cars and things like that, we have spark plugs.
Love it.
You are a spark plug.
We have spark plugs, and cars have spark plugs. We have receptors. Check this out. I am in the process of doing an access consciousness bars. What are access bars? They premiere simple. There are 32 points, bars on your head that represent different areas of such life, such as communication, awareness, money control, and creativity. We have these in our head. So when you're looking at a car, so if your car spark plugs are sparking because they're connected to what? They've connected to this motor, right? So if a spark plug is not getting what it's supposed to get, that means something is not going to relate to the engine, and the engine is not going to do what it needs to do. So when my dad and them under there, and they changing spark plugs, they checking out this spark plug, boom, that means something is not getting. Same for us. We have receptors, 32, what I just said, 32 receptors in our own brain. 32 in our own brain. And so if our receptors are not getting the proper, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't make sense. So our receptors are not connecting because why? We have so much stuff that's toxic in our body. Our cars have receptors that are toxic. You know, spark plugs, they got to change. They got to box. My dad had cases of spark plugs because as soon as he hit that track, boom, every spark plug had a mission. But in us, we don't realize we have spark plugs known as receptors in our brain. So let me tell you the interesting part. Over the weekend, my battery went out in my truck. Look, I done changed my own tire, but my battery went out in my truck. And I'm like this, oh my God, my truck is not starting. You know, I'm like, what is not connecting? Something is not connecting. So I'm like, something is not connecting here either, because it's not like I should know what I need to do. But as soon as I started thinking about, oh, something didn't get what it needs to get. So now I gotta think. Now I gotta go into the back archive and put out. Now I'm making calls like I need somebody to help me. And I just spoke about what do we do in preventive cases when we can't get the things we need to have. I just spoke about that. And I'm like, okay, so What am I going to do? So I'm called a couple of people, nobody respond. So God is laughing in my ear, saying, you know what to do. I'm like, what? You know what's going on? That means in your receptors, you need to connect something because you can think about what you need to do for the battery to get the what? The movement of your car going. So I went to the store, purchased a battery. Me and my grandson, I had to call my sweetie, babe, I got to change the battery. He said, you can do it. I believe in you. And I'm up here, my consciousness, my receptors in my brain, we started, we started putting things together in my head, because when you don't get enough oxygen to your brain, you can't think what you need to do to get that movement going like you need to. So you already start stressing because why? You don't have enough oxygen. So when you don't have enough oxygen, how do you think the rest of your body's going to respond? My truck couldn't respond because it didn't have what it needed to have. So I had to take out the old battery, wipe off the old crud around it. I didn't even use the soda everybody liked to drink. I wiped it off. Put the battery, the thing was heavy. My grandson said, Nana, you got that? I said, yeah, boo. Nana, I got this. We're going to get this in there. So it started giving me problems. I said, okay, now I got to think again. What in my brain? I had to take deep breath.
Woosah.
I'm sweating like somebody pour water on me. And so what I had to do was I had to reset. I had to take out, because the battery was in a case, and then I had to take out the two pieces on the side. I had to get the eye wrench and and hit this and hit this. Now I'm doing this, and I'm hyped now because I'm like, oh, hey, we can do this. As women, we forget to know what power that we have. So I'm excited. I'm up here under the roof, under the hood. I got to take this piece out. Then I put it in. It wouldn't fit. I'm like, okay. Breathe. You got this. I'm like, all right, I got this. So I took that out. I took the base around it, that frames around it. So I sit it back in there. I said, okay, it's not moving. So now it's stable. So what I got to do now, I got to make sure that my connectors first lined up. I had to put that one on and put that one on. They had this tied down, screwed down. And I'm doing my grandson like this. Nah, you good, nah. You good. I said, Denzel, we got this. He was psyched because why? He got a chance to see his nana put a battery in. So if I wasn't sharing my reception of my knowledge to my grandson so he can see as a young boy what he needs to do to keep his zoom going, he'd have been lost because he didn't have nobody to show him. This is our life, y'all. This is what life is. We have to make sure our receptors are able to do what needs to be done within a preventive status when nobody's there to help us. Zoom.
I love it. Ooh. And just to add to that, to make an engine run, you need three things. Simple. You need spark, as you spoke about the spark plug. You need fuel, of course, and you need air. Now, your receptors are your spark plugs. So if you're not thinking straight, if your receptors are not firing, you're going to be running rough. You're going to be running with a rich mixture. If you're not consuming the right amount that you need as the individual, that you need as an engine, again, you're going to be running lean, and then you won't be running at top performance. If you're not breathing properly, if you're not controlling your breathing, again, that too will deteriorate the performance of your engine. So those three things: your receptors, which are your spark plugs, your intake of anything, which is your fuel, and breathing, which is air. If those three things are not in there, right, just know that you won't perform properly. So it's very important that whatever you consume on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, even the people around you, if you're not consuming the right input, if you're not pulling that right stuff in, you're going to be getting black smoke out of your exhaust, and you don't want to see that black smoke out of your exhaust, because that's burnout, right? So it's so important to understand that you need to have that correct balance for those three things: breathe, consumption, and receptors.
And then when you go to your dashboard, everything's lit up. So now you got to understand, that's when the diagnostic's saying that, okay, we got to analyze your internal to get everything on track. So that means your receptor has to be analyzed, because you're cleansing, you're detoxing, you're resetting your mindset, you're cleaning your gut, your blood is starting to clean, your oxygen is getting through. So when you start putting those things back in your body, and when the diagnosis say, I have finished analyzing, you should wake up like a brand new what? Cadillac, baby. Cadillac.
Yes,
brand new Cadillac.
Off the showroom floor, baby.
He had a Camaro. My dad had a Camaro. He rebuilt. He did all his cars from rod up. He rebuilt all his cars from rod up. The frame he had his guys come in. They would redo the frame. His car came in rails. They re-put the cars together. Zoom, zoom. I mean, he put slide in the mobile home, and we gone to the track.
Wow.
Yeah.
Donna, you had a Camaro the last time I saw you, but it was basically up on blocks. Do you still have it? It was a green Camaro?
No, you remember my Camaro?
Yeah, I got a video of it. We were walking around it, like I was listening to you, like I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, no. You know what? And you stop and think for a minute. What happens is that I could not maintain what she needed at the time where I was. So she had to go where someone could give her what she needed. And that's something that when we look at how we treat ourselves, and it's just so funny. And once again, Siobhan, I'm just going to tell you, you pick the shows, you know the right people to put together. This is great, because I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it real, because my tank, literally, I came in here on fumes to sit here tonight, and it is no doing but my own self. There's no one in the world I can blame for me skating on fumes today but myself, because I did not pour 1 ounce into myself this morning. From the time I swung my feet out, I didn't do the steps. I didn't follow my manual. So I hurt people today. I hurt myself today. I went and drove my body somewhere where I could connect again. I went and sat by water and tried to regroup myself and pick up my manual and start reading a few things. And I did a diagnostic on myself. And then again, like I said, once you do that, when you're already tired, now you're really tired, because you've had to be truthful with yourself. So then I had to limp back here and again, skate in on fumes, and to come and do what I know needs to be done. And isn't that the thing we just got through saying? I don't want to bring you don't want to bring your car to the shop. Look at you. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That was my dad.
Yes. I didn't want to bring myself to the garage. But see, look at my technicians all around me.
Yeah.
I have gotten my spark plugs changed. Dr. Romunda, thank you very much.
You got more fuel. You got a lot more fuel.
Fuel, Renee and Siobhan.
Yes.
You have me sitting there. I mean, I'm looking at you glowing. So, I'm trying to get my little glow up going on right now. But that's what I mean. That's why it's so important to do these things. I can't say how important this show, period, is for us, because you're going to find just what you need. I found what I needed again. And it is to face these things, face what we're not doing, take accountability for when our stuff is running behind, when we're sluggish, when those spark plugs aren't sparking. We have to take that accountability. And I'm so glad I have y'all to get that jump from. Put them cables, and I've gotten a jump. And so I am really, really on a different level right now than where I started. So fueling up and that's a real thing. That's real.
So you put in high test, not not diesel.
We don't put in those tests.
That's why I put in that high performance.
High octane.
Did you say high octane? Come on.
High octane.
But look, the interesting part about it, people will put high octane in their cars and put low regular in their bodies.
In their bodies. Come on.
I'm like, how do you
Yeah.
put a higher performance level in a car that can sit on the side of the road or drop you up at the cemetery and bring you back?
That's right.
Because you
And
put no
it's-
fuel in yourself.
And do we not take care of those cars and make them shine and make them buff? And then we don't buff ourselves. We don't shine ourselves. We do for public. You know, we do for public when we're taking out on that Sunday drive. But what about when we're at home? You know, our own diagnostic, our own look in the mirror. I asked my girlfriend, when's the last time she looked at, when she looked at herself in the mirror? When's the last time she fully looked at herself from head to toe in the mirror? She said, I can't. I'm ugly. I don't like certain parts of my body. And she has a really nice car. You know, great car, good, nice, shiny, beautiful. But this.
Isn't that because she can take her car, it could get smashed up and she just get a new one. So she just writes a check, puts her credit card down and gets a new one, gets her car fixed. She doesn't have to, has nothing to do with her body. She might get a little stressed having to get a new car, right? You know, there's that side of it, but she doesn't have to fix from the inside out, right? Of her own body.
You have to look at it, you know, so you keep it covered. You look at the mirror from waist up. I mean, how many of us do that? How many of us go stand in front of the full length mirror and really, really check our chassis out? You know,
I do now.
I gotta do that.
I just came off a doctor.
There was a time I couldn't do that. Because I was so busy comparing my chassis to the girls over here or this person's, you know, like our cars. Oh, I want a new car. I want a new phone. I want the 15. You know, we always want that. But when it comes to self-improvement on ourselves, aren't we always last?
Yep.
Aren't we always last? Aren't we always last? Siobhan, it took me forever to open that brown box over there with my products. Because I'm putting myself last because everything else is first.
So now you're going to put yourself first.
Well, I mean, I want to
open that brown box.
I want to be showroom. You know, I want to look showroom ready. Inside too,
inside out. From the inside out.
Not from the inside out. Not just that's what I mean. Yes. Hell yes. Excuse me. Yes. You guys really are making these fantastic links and helping, you know, these souls, of which we all have, our souls, you know, that need a recharge. When Dr. Romunda was talking about lifting that battery and doing all that, you know, that's like us. When we have to lift ourselves out of the chair in the morning, that's like getting up, putting the battery, you know, just sometimes putting your shoes on, you feel like you need to jump because that's just the life sometimes of a woman. And that's just what it is. Sometimes we pour out more. We give everybody a ride, but we don't give ourselves a ride. That's right.
Something else that we should.
That's right.
Something else we should look at, ladies, is that as very, very accomplished women that want to do better for ourselves and our family, you find that we have to upgrade our cars ever so often based on the lifestyle that we want. So, for instance, you start off in doing one project, then someone thinks, hey, this car can take a lot more load, you know, but you're putting more weight into that car and your car is just dragging along, not knowing that you have to probably, you know, put on a turbo, you know, change your tires, you know, upgrade your fuel, right? Do things that can increase the performance of your car. And on top of that, if your car is going to be doing more work, then you're going to have to put more fuel and do more maintenance on it. So that's why it's so important. If you want to upgrade in life, if you're doing so much more than you would normally do, you have to upgrade your maintenance. Your intervals for maintenance have to be shorter. Time to upgrade the parts, baby. Time to upgrade the part. And by upgrading, I mean that turbocharger or that supercharger, you go and you put that on, you upgrade your pistons and your rods, and you ensure that, hey, with more weight, I got to push more power on, horsepower onto the hood. you know? So what was first 6 months of therapy now comes down to what, 3 months, probably a month, once a month of therapy, because again, you're putting a lot more strain on your chassis or on your engine. So that's something to think about as well. And we all want to do more, yes, for ourselves. So that's going to be very important going forward in life.
How important is it to know your why when you're working on your car? So, you know, the purpose, the reason for being, you know.
This is your transport from A to B. Now, if your car breaks down, you can't go anywhere. So your why is having a sustainable piece of machinery that's going to give you longevity, a longer ride. Now, if you don't maintain your car, that means you're cutting down the lifespan of your car significantly. So ensuring that you maintain, or whatever intervals that you have. And again, we have some really, in Antigua, our roads are not the best. So again, the environment that you drive your car in plays a pivotal role in maintenance of your car, not just your engine, but your suspension or your tires or your rims, you know, your front end parts. You know, these are the things outside of the engine. You have other parts that keeps your car running efficiently. So again, if you hear a sound, you go and check it out. If you smell something, you go and check it out. Same thing with your body. So it's for longevity more so than looks, if that makes sense. Yeah. Being intentional with what you want to do takes precedence over everything. If you know your intention is to have a smooth running car, smooth running life, or to be in tip-top shape, whether it be physically, mentally, or spiritually, you have to be intentional. Okay, we've all grown up in different environments, different situations, and I get that. But then sometimes it's hard to unlearn things that you grew up knowing. That's why it's important to go and get your checkup. It's hard to unlearn. So you need that assistance to unlearn and then to relearn the good stuff that's going to get you to the next level, right? So again, intentionality is going to get you so much further. Too often we just do it. A lot of persons do it because they see it on social media. And that's one of the things that Donna spoke about earlier. We're looking at the next car. We're looking at the car outside that looks it's candy red and it's sitting on some 20s, right? And we're like, I wish I could. But then little do you know that car can't move. A tow truck has to come and lift that car up and take it away, right? So it's being intentional is important, and of course, holding yourself accountable for you and not for anyone else.
You can't just sit there and idle. You know, your car's in idle, stall, whatever it is. It's just sitting there. The gas is burning up. The air is blowing. It's 99 where I'm at. You know, we got the AC blowing in the car and everything, but I'm not moving. You know, but it looks good. But I look good. But no, that's not how it's supposed to be. You know, we do have to do that diagnostic. We do have to be open and say, you know what? I'm not feeling good. I told my family today, I don't feel well. Just listen to me. I'm not myself. I'm having a moment. You know, expose that. Expose yourself. Expose your chassis. Let people see that I got some knocks going on. I'm a little low on fuel, maybe a little low on water, maybe my spark plugs, something like that. Let people in. You know, and when you let them in, don't be afraid once they get them in. Just tell them. Like I told my family, I'm having a hard time today. You know, just let me just have this. And like I said, I have to apologize. You got to go back and do certain things, but I feel better. I feel better inside because I was able to flush my carburetor, cry, flush myself out, you know, do those kind of things so I can get back on the road again.
That's why you got to have the right team. When my dad would race and when he pulled off on that side, the team is ready. The team is ready. They got the jack. You got to have that same kind of to lift you up. You see what I'm saying? And in 3 seconds, boom, he back out and he's ready. He's catching up and he's flying past. If we don't take understanding that we need the right people to reset us,
crew.
You can have the family be like, oh, and they draining you even more. Oh, and you like, I'm not feeling my best. And they like, oh, so they no good to us because nobody retuned them. They got to be reset. So you got to go and take the whole family for a diagnostic testing so everybody can get, remember them access bars that sit in our head, the 32 that's sitting there that need to be reset because we got things in our brain that are called blockages that allowing us not to get it. So now you got to find somebody to go in here and reset your thinking.
It's very important for us to be vigilant, keep our eyes on the road, keep our eyes on the goal, and be very cautious with whatever comes in front of us, and use our own discernment as a driver and a safe driver to ensure that, hey, whatever comes my way, I'm going to just swerve and keep my seatbelt on, ensure that my windscreen is always clean so that I can see. Because very often as women, we don't put water inside of our windshield wiper. So when it's time for us to, press the button or pull the lever, there's no water coming out. And then it's Mary and you can't see anything, so it's very, very important to use your discernment, use the receptors, use the spark plugs.
This has been an amazing group. I appreciate you guys so much. Renee Edwards from Antigua, powerhouse, amazing woman, just giving, loving, and just always spot on with what you have to say. And it's like you've lived in a million lifetimes, but you're just...
Sometimes it feels that way, Siobhan. That's why I have to have more tune-ups than normal because of the amount of things that I do. Oh my goodness. But it was an absolute pleasure, and I'm happy that at least everyone walks away with a nugget, with a gem, with a snippet out of their owner's manual, so that when they go to bed, they can sit back and rethink and absorb that, you know what I mean, and then apply it to their lives to make it better. So it was an absolute pleasure.
Well, thank you. And do you have any final words of wisdom for the audience?
Be authentically you. Everyone else is taken. I know it has nothing to do with cars, but I find that people can smell trash from a mile away. So if you're not authentic and you don't bring yourself to the table, you will lose out on so many different opportunities. So be you for you. And you can go to my website, www.inreallife.com, and that will send you to all my other different platforms, and you get to learn a little bit more about this island gal. So thank you so much again, and I look forward to coming on this platform sometime soon.
And so what did we learn tonight, ladies and gentlemen? We learned that car enthusiasts make great life coaches because they know when to downshift and when to hit the gas. Another amazing episode. Thank you all, and keep it real to heal, ladies and gentlemen.